To my personal YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about my YouTube experience. Now, I didn't want to put this on the Grand Columbia channel because it's kind of long and involved and it's got some statistics. It may bore you to death. If you're not interested, I understand. But if you are, hang in there and check out my conclusions. Hopefully they're worth the wait. First of all, what prompted this was the fact that YouTube canceled my financial account. Now, what does that mean? To be eligible to make money on YouTube or on advertisements or whatever it is on various platforms, you need to sign up on this site called AdSense. AdSense belongs to Google. YouTube belongs to Google. AdSense and YouTube are separate, even though they both belong to Google. So what happens when you put videos up, if you reach certain metrics, whatever they concoct, and it's changeable, then AdSense will run advertisements on those videos and you're supposed to get a portion of it. Well, that's been problematic because they've been running ads on videos that aren't getting paid at all, but that's another story. So what's it been like for me to be on YouTube? Well, when I started doing videos, I didn't even know about AdSense. I didn't know that you could make any kind of money on YouTube. And so I went, I think, a year before I signed up for that. Let me go over some things here. My very first video that I put up on YouTube was November 17th, 2015. I think in total I made 9 cents on that video over the past 5 or 6 years. Uh, it wasn't much of a video. The first time that I was monetized, in other words, the first time I actually received a check from YouTube, because you don't get a check until you reach $100, but you don't lose it. So every month, if you made $20 and that next month maybe you made 30, so now it's 50. And so you go however many months until you reach $100, and then they'll put the money in your bank. My first payment from YouTube was July 2017. And that first check that encompassed all the money that I had made prior. That was my very first check, and whatever had accumulated from when I started AdSense a year before to then, I got paid $109.23. That was pretty cool, I guess, something I wasn't expecting. But let me go over, what I've made. This is not going to be the payments. This is going to be what I actually earned, whether I got paid or not. So the first one, 2016, it was $9.64. It's like, wait, you said it was 109. No, that was 2017, and that 964 accumulated until I got that payment. So understand that. So let me okay, so this was 2016, and as I said, it was $9.64. So let's go to the next one. Okay, here's 2017. I made $729.25 for that year. Now, this next one will be a little interesting. I was doing twice the views. I had more than twice the subscribers, but I only earned that year $501.03. That's when they came through and kind of revamped everything. And what that meant was they were going to run advertisements. They were going to make the money. They just weren't going to share it with you the way that you originally had contracted for. So now let's go to 2019. You can see I've been getting rich on YouTube, right? Okay, we got 2019 here. And this year, I made $938.17. You're probably wondering, why is them demonetizing you a problem? Well, I'll get to that. So here's 2020. That was lockdown time. I didn't have much to do but do videos. And last year, 2020, I made $1,047.88 on YouTube ad. Let's look at this year. Now, they demonetized me in May. So, what I have for this year is $912.28. And yes, you're hearing this right, that come the end of the year, it would have been probably pretty well over $2,000. So it starts to get to some serious money considering where I am and what I'm doing. Now, you have to understand that I'm in Colombia, and the economy here is about a quarter of what it is in the US. Yeah, it depends on where, but let's say give or take, we'll say a quarter. So rent maybe costs 25% of what it would cost for the equivalent in the US. It's not a complete straight across exact, but ballpark, it's like that. What this amounted to recently is a couple $100s a month coming from YouTube paying me for advertisements on my videos. A couple $100s a month is a pretty significant amount of money for me here. That would be the equivalent of somebody taking away $800 a month from you if you're living in the United States. I mean, if somebody took $800 from you, it's like, it's serious enough where you're going to have to go back and reassess what you spend money on because it's not there. Even though it doesn't sound like a lot in my circumstance, I'd say it's pretty devastating. What else we have? Total lifetime money from YouTube advertisements, $3,672 and some change, 50 cents. This works out to about $56 a month from its inception. But it isn't just the money that YouTube has taken away from me. They've changed the algorithm. For example, I would get about 80 to 100 subscribers every month. Now I'm lucky if I'm pulling 22, 23. It's only been a couple months, but from the time they canceled me, the subscribers just disappeared. And what happened is they're essentially not actively hiding my videos, but they've changed the way I participate in YouTube so that it's more difficult for people to find my videos. Really, and me going over the stats this last month, the only people who subscribed to my videos are people who are regular watchers that had just never been subscribed before. And that happens. People might watch for a year or two, not subscribe, and then one day they just decide they're going to subscribe. But these subscribers that I got, the 22 subscribers, are not representative of new people coming to look, which in the past, when I would get 80 to 100, 3/4 of them were new people. They're hurting me in that way also, because that hurts everything else that I do. The channel, it's going to be difficult to grow that way. So I have to come up with alternatives. Now, I saw this coming. You might ask, why would they do this? Why did they cancel my account? What did you do wrong? I did nothing wrong. They had, let me see if I can find it. So I'm going to be, hi. You see it says invalid traffic, AdSense for content. And if you look across, it says minus 21 cents. And if you look prior to that, you'll see earnings AdSense for content, $6.11. Now, what is this AdSense for content? It is not advertising on YouTube. As I mentioned in the beginning, AdSense is of itself, and it does the ads for YouTube, but it also does advertisements elsewhere. So where would that be? Well, originally, way back when I started, and actually the original reason I opened AdSense wasn't about YouTube. It's because on my website, I was posting blogs. I was writing pretty lengthy, informational, storytelling things about how I made my decision to move to Ecuador, what it was all about, medical issues. It was all there with photos. And somebody had said, hey, you can monetize that. In other words, make money from that if you set it up so there's advertisements on your webpage. So I looked into it, AdSense. So I signed up back then. And the money that I was reading to you wasn't including that. but it never amounted to much. It was 5, 6. I think the most I ever got in a month was maybe $8 or $9. Hey, every little bit counts, so I'm not complaining. But that's what it was. Just recently, April or May, when I got shut down, I put the advertisements once again on my website. For the last 3 years, they haven't been there, and it was a technical problem. It just stopped doing it, and I had to go through all these setup things. It was really a pain because they had changed their formatting. But I decided, okay, I got a little time, and so I did. I always had projects pending. I've got a whole list of things, to do, and it's like, okay, now I can get to this one, and they're all prioritized. I'm working on a big project now that I'll be telling you about soon. It's fingers crossed. I have a big meeting today. But just recently, I started up the advertisements on my website. And if you see here, the AdSense for content, that's talking about the ads on my website, not on YouTube. I didn't get canceled because of anything related to YouTube. It just so happens if I don't have an AdSense account, I can't collect any money from YouTube. So it wasn't YouTube that did it, it was AdSense. It's still Google. So why did they cancel me? Why is it I owe them 21 cents? And is that worth canceling somebody? Well, this is what they claim. It's all vague and it's hard to be sure. It's all legalese so that you can't really pin them down on anything. You can't talk to a human being. You really can't protest it. You get one shot to tell them why. This is what it was. If you want to appeal, click on this link. So I click on the link and you put all this information, your name and your address and your contact, and it's just a whole bunch of things. And then they say, we get down to the nitty gritty. What is it you will do different in the future so as not to violate the terms of agreement? I didn't do anything now. How can I do anything different in the future if I didn't do anything now? And so I wrote that out. I said, but I didn't do anything now. There hasn't been any kind of new influx of people. It's been very consistent, because what happens is people will go out and hire some outfits like out of Eastern Europe to go to your website or go to your YouTube page and act like they're people consuming. So they go to your website and they'll start clicking on the ads just so that you get credit for that. Or they'll go to YouTube and they'll watch the video and they'll put a like and they'll put a comment or whatever, depending on how much you pay them. And that'll drive your stats up artificially. Well, I don't do that. I've never done that. And considering that I've been doing this for 6 years, if you look at the views on my website, which actually I have there, if you look at the views and subscribers that I have on my YouTube channel, it's hardly tearing the world up, because it's very focused. It's a very limited audience, and I know that. And I don't do the things like looking for streetwalkers. That'll drive views up crazy overnight, but it's not what I do. So based on what I do, I'm very pleased with the growth that I've had, but it's been very consistent. So I just started the ads again on my website, and they're saying that there was 21 cents worth of something that happened that was a fraudulent person. 21 cents is about what you get for a click-through. So one person went to my website, clicked on one of the ads. It racked up a whole 21 cents for me for doing that, but somehow they deemed that person was fraudulent. Instead of going after that person, I'm blamed for it, and I lose my ability to monetize, not just now, but forever. The appeal came back. I can never have an AdSense account. And that's just not me. That's how their terms go. That if you ever get canceled, you can never open an account in somebody else's name. You can't, create a new account. It's done. Your Social Security, you're banned for life to be monetized through Google. So that's what happened to me. And it took me a while to figure this out. I've been poring over a lot of information, reading a lot of their terms of services, because what does it boil down to with Google and YouTube as far as I'm concerned? Well, it's a like-hate relationship. I hate that AdSense, YouTube, Google are entities that you cannot communicate with. Unless you're, some big player with millions of subscribers or something that are going to raise hell. But all us small producers, we have no way to contact a human being. If you call support, you get, put into this endless loop of question that you'll never get a person. So something like this, it's wrong, but I can't appeal it. I can't actually point out how logical it is that there's no way I could have cheated on this, for a whopping 21 cents. I mean, what did I go pay somebody to win 21 cents? So, it's ludicrous on its face. So I hate that about YouTube and Google. There's no recourse for anything. If you need help with something, forget it. It just doesn't exist. When it comes to YouTube itself and the software, even though I have problems from time to time, it glitches out sometimes, uploads will be kind of screwy, sometimes there'll be gaps in sound, but most of the time it operates fine. What you broadcast or what you record is what somebody's going to see. Even though it has problems, the track record over the past 5-6 years have been pretty good as far as that goes. They don't really innovate. They do little things here and there, but they're kind of sitting on their laurels because there's nobody else out there that has software as good as what they have, even with the problems. Now, when I saw this coming a year ago, and I put everything on my website, and I've been working on backup broadcast platforms, live streaming platforms. And so I've got accounts on and have used Odyssey, which is where I house all my videos in case I ever lose YouTube. Every video I ever made is there on odyssey.live. So on Odyssey, Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, and it has a lot of issues in and of itself, and they take a lot of money. Not as much as YouTube. If you remind me, I'll tell you about that. DLive, that, like Twitch, is a gamer channel, and when you go there, you see all these cartoony icons, and it's really kind of an eyesore, and I'm just not happy with it, even though their live streaming works okay. What's the conservative one? I have an account on Rumble. I have tried Rumble. Their live streaming is still in its experimental stage, but I will say that it worked okay, but I've had issues with it. Uploading videos really problematic. You have to have the original video, and it's, mine are housed different than what it requires. So you have that, but there's other things about Rumble where people may like Rumble from the front side, but on the back side, to operate it as a live streaming channel and as my other videos, it kind of sucks. It's actually the worst one outside of me. Well, even Twitch, at least the live streaming works well. So Rumble is really at the bottom of the list. People point it out all the time because it's a free speech platform, and well, most of them are these days. Then there's one that's been in the works for a long time, but it's relatively new, actually just kind of rolled out a few months ago, and it's called Brime, Brime. I think it's brimelive.com. Now, that actually works. When I ran a test, that worked really well. And it's got an advantage to it, is that if you broadcast through that, you can link 6 other places for it to go. So I can broadcast there, and it'll also stream live at the same time on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on DLive, I forget the others. Doesn't have Odyssey on there yet, and so that's a little discouraging for me. And there's one called Glee Mesh. It doesn't have that one either. But that's a real nice feature that most of these others don't have. The last one that I've been looking at is called Glee Mesh. Glimesh. I have no idea where they come up with these names. Maybe domain names are all taken and they just have to pull it out of a Scrabble box. But that one's pretty promising, but it doesn't do the live streaming on other channels, but it does have a monetization format already there and set up. So I can not only make money from advertisements on that, and get a 70-30 cut versus the 60-40 on YouTube. But you can also, while the live streaming is going on, I can receive contributions. You can sign up for membership, all on that platform, which is handy. Now you can still do that with me no matter how I live stream, even if it's on YouTube, because I put a link for that up in the top of the chat. So all you have to do is click on that and you can still do it. Or you can go to grandcolumbia.live, my website, and everything you can imagine is there. My podcasts, my blog, all my videos you can access through there. Anything financial, merchandise. I've got 2 merchandise companies. You can access both of them there. Get yourself some mugs or some nice t-shirts. It's all there on that website. Out of habit, YouTube really is the only game in town right now. All the rest of these have some pretty good, innovative ideas, but none of them have it as a package. I mean, if they all got together and quit wasting money trying to, reinvent it themselves, if they all got together and put all their good ideas, they would blow YouTube out of the water. It would be an overnight sensation. But, that's never going to happen. Everybody has their vested interest. So what do I think? YouTube, well, I hate them. But I appreciate the software that they've developed. I appreciate that they've cornered the market on viewers, that if you're not if you're not on YouTube, people are going to have to know about you and hunt for you. Where on YouTube, at least with me, used to be, it would pop up every once in a while. The way it worked is, let's say you did a search in YouTube and you put Armenia, Colombia. I would come up. A number of my videos would show up. Or if you put Colombia, somewhere in there, I would come up. But so people use it as a search engine for information, along with a place to watch, cat videos and whatever. So that's where the market is. That's where the viewers are. And I've been cut out of the financial end of it. So they still running ads. They're just not giving me any of the money. So they get 100% of it. And I've been cut out of the growth end of it because they're kind of hiding my videos. So where do I go from here? I honestly don't know. My thinking is maybe I'll stream on YouTube as long as I'm able to do it. Or maybe I'll go to one of these other platforms like the Brime that will also stream on YouTube. So my main platform will be on Brime. Now I got one more problem. When I do live, the whole key of my live video is that I've got live chat. People can ask questions and I can interact with the audience. And that's on YouTube. But in order for that to happen, people would have to watch on that Brime platform with that chat. Because as of now, I can't really integrate that. And there's a number of other things that I do that I can't integrate into that other platform yet. Over the next year, yes, if they still exist, these come and go also. Right now, I don't really have a lot of choice, and it sucks that I've lost each month between contributions in YouTube and memberships and all the things that you do. I average about $400, and that's over the past about 8-9 months. And out of that $400, I get about $60-70, and I'm really appreciative of it. It's nice. It's nice to have that extra money. The rest goes towards various subscriptions that I have to pay for, things related to what I do. I've got to pay for the website. There's just a lot of things that cost money, plus putting together the studio, equipment, things like that. My dream is that $400, one day I'll have all the things that I need. I'll be able to consolidate some subscriptions, and I'll be able to actually put a couple $100 in my pocket. That's my goal. Don't need to get rich on it, but that's what happened. That's what's going on, and that's where we are. So for those of you who are wondering, now you know way too much. So I'll see you on the next coffee time.
Okay.